Joey, like movies about gladiators. I have a cold again. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you've never been here before, I'm Fat Sajak, and I have a cold. Just kidding, I'm a woman. I can handle it. What are we here for today? Oh yeah, we're filming a video. Today I want to talk about two things. Well, two people and one thing. Two girls, one cup. Only with more shit. Today, I wanted to talk about Gabby Hanna's appearance on Jubilee and Def Noodles' appearance on Jubilee. Now, you may or may not know, I'm working on like a larger Gabby Hanna series, which is going to be kind of like an amalgamation, an Eras tour, if you will, of sort of the events that were the roller coaster of Gabby Hanna over the course of the past, like, 6 or 7 years. It's been wild. I honestly, like, started the first episode, like, working on it, and it's taking some time, because they're gonna be kind of lengthy and cinematic, if you will. There were so many things I had forgotten about. So that's taking some time. Because I feel like since Gabby Hanna's been on this like TikTok tour of like borderline seeming religious psychosis again, only she's doing it married now, I feel like a lot of people are like, hey, Gabby's doing this thing, and I'm like, I know, girl, I know, we'll get there, I'm not going to be breaking the Gabby news unless it gets really out of hand, but hey, out of my way, I'm gesturing. So I will get to that, but it's just going to take some time, okay? So, unless she really flies off the handle in the next however long, just know that I will get there. Even this one took a long time to get to, okay? I've been kind of sitting on the Jubilee video, and I haven't even fully watched it, if you can believe it or not. I know a lot of commentary channels have talked about it already, but I couldn't find a space where I was like, I feel like this fits, like, I don't know. But when I saw old buddy Def Noodles was also on Jubilee recently, I thought, what a combo. If I haven't yet personally offended you, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. A couple people have said that they were unknowingly unsubscribed, so I assume YouTube's quarterly subscriber purge is upon us, so just make sure that if you want to be subscribed, or you think you are subscribed, just make sure you are. Make sure you like the video if you can spare a fraction of a second to click a button. Lazy. And if you like to rewatch fun, nostalgic content and take your mind off all the horrors in the world, you can join my Patreon, where we do that. We're watching Teen Mom and Teen Mom OG. We're going to finish the whole franchise. We're watching I Love the 90s. We watched Spice World. We have a book club. I'm creating a new little segment for Patreon too, which is going to be like which is something that like none of my patrons asked for, but I'm going to make it anyway just because that's fun. I've been doing like a comedy corner where I'm going to geek out over like all of the sketch comedy things and such that I love because I'm a comedy nerd. So as you can imagine, I am mourning the death of one Catherine O'Hara this week. It's been rough. It's been rough. Also, everything in this country is rough. I have some links that are perpetually down below in ways to help out our pals in Minneapolis and other areas in Minnesota directly. Those are down below. I'm slightly caffeinated and ill and chatty. Let's talk about it. We're going to kind of watch, I don't know what the, I've heard that Jubilee is really quick to hit you with a copyright claim. So I'm going to see, let's see what we can do here. We're not going to watch all of this. We'll do Gabby first, just for funsies. We're not going to watch all of it. We're just going to watch her little segment. Same thing with the Def Noodles one. Gabby, as you know, was quite a controversial creator, which is, I was going to save this for sort of later in the series that I'm working on. But she has had many lives on the internet a lot of which were very frightening and concerning and hurtful to other people. I have covered Gabbie henna extensively over the years. There is a playlist for Gabbie henna content. If I remembered, it's in the description. If I didn't, you'll find it. You're fine, you'll figure it out. So basically Gabbie went on this little jubilee video here and with a bunch of other influencers, like 2 of which I know who they are. We're just gonna watch. Again, I haven't even really watched. I've seen little bits and pieces of this, but I haven't watched anybody cover it because I don't like to until I've covered it. Not because I think I'm better, just because I don't want it to influence what I think and what I have to say. So, get off my back.
I portray a life I don't actually live.
Wow. Look at all those authentic creators.
Yeah, my YouTube days, I think the only thing I really like had going for me.
Okay, first of all, I just want to point out that the shirt she's wearing is merch from a time when she was seemingly having a mental health crisis. So, make your tragedies a work of art or whatever.
I used to do like story time videos. I was called the Gabbie Show if you were on like Vine or like
That's where I know you from.
There we go.
Not Glozell being like, oh yeah, you. Oh, shit. Why is Tara wearing that outfit? What is with the kitten heel? Why are y'all wearing kitten heels? Why are we insisting on bringing kitten heels back? I know this isn't the point of this video, but like, what are we doing? What are you doing? Don't do that. Those are horrible. Don't do that.
So the thing that I really had going for me was just that I wasn't polishing anything, like pimple on the face, like greasy skin, like really truly messy space, and also mental health. Like I feel like a lot of my traction was because I was one of the earlier creators to really show like depression, anxiety. And I think it did some good, but I think that like coming online and doing story times or like getting emotional and like crying because like, wow, this is like actually hurting me, but also the views of this.
That's a hell of a statement. Carry on.
Like the blur of authenticity and just completely exploiting yourself was like treacherous. So I had to like take a huge step back to the point where I share very, very little at all. Like honestly, I'm surprised I was asked as an influencer because I feel like I'm like retired. But
yeah, I feel like you are too. I guess I could see what she's saying, where it's like if you're giving people your real life, and like I assume we're talking, you know, circa the early years where she vlogged a lot and did the story times and stuff. Sure, I could see where the lines kind of get blurred, but like, I don't know. Maybe because I have a smaller channel, maybe I just cannot conceptualize losing myself so deeply in my job. Like, I love my job. I love doing this. This is wonderful. And I guess because my job is more commentary than lifestyle, I guess I already naturally have that separation. I just can't imagine letting it consume me to the point where my mental health suffers that much, I guess. I suppose I can understand how that does seep through when you're showing more of your life. You know, you're seeing a corner of my space.com/Tom and me sitting here in front of it. And yes, this is authentically me, you know, this is my wonky eye and my bad skin and my bloated face and my shitty hair, and I'm in a t-shirt and a hoodie, and this is just naturally who the fuck I am. But like, I don't know.
I've feared being canceled.
so I had a little period of time where it was just like lightning rod of just little dumb drama things that didn't really like matter a lot. But then it just became like, honestly, kind of dark at a point where it felt just constant from every angle, and then just kept getting like, honestly, darker and darker and like weirder because people are crazy. And that's why when you were talking about like wanting to like let yourself, like you feel safe, don't. Like, why would you feel safe?
I mean, I don't know what kind of content that person creates, but I assume it's not full of pure paranoia and unnecessary performance. I feel like so much of, especially now, like I've been going over a lot of the older Gabby stuff. It is interesting. As her mental health declined, she found herself in more and more and more and more. Like, I know all of the earlier stuff between her and Jessie Smiles with that whole scenario and the genesis of all of that, that was prior to that. But I mean, everything else that she's been steeped in outside of the Kenza Cosmetics brushes has been in part to her own actions. Like, she really just kicked off like her own shitstorm and then looks around and goes, I didn't start drama. Where did I start drama? Which led to her mental health decline and led to her fear and paranoia and you know, all of that kind of crumbling on top of her. So I mean, I don't know.
Like, I want to shake you. I had like the fear. You realize like some cancellations are valid and then some are somewhat true and then some are like maybe a little true but not worth what it got spun into.
Okay, but like, what does that mean? I mean, I know what it means, but like, how is that? I mean, and I guess this isn't a Gabby Hanna interview, so it's asking the questions like seems kind of futile, but like, what specifically? I want to know which cancellations that she has encountered qualify for the ones that get spun up into things that don't matter.
You see so many examples of people's careers just like ending. And I did fear that for a really long time, which is why I came over here, because so much of my life for multiple years was obsessing over that. And then once things happened where it was like, oh, she's canceled or cancel her or whatever it was like, okay, but nobody's ever truly canceled until they give up. So then it became this thing where it's like, well, I'm not gonna let people win.
That was
like,
deep, honey.
Anybody who's engaging in cancel culture because they believe that it's helpful is wrong.
I disagree, and I don't think that people who are engaging in cancel culture, which I assume she means people with commentary channels or people who make commentary, that don't positively shine a light on people every single time, I don't think that they're wrong. Like, leaving myself out of it. To make a finer point of it, okay? I could go back and watch every Gabby Hanna video and point out every single thing she's ever said that was even a little bit questionable. And I think that's wrong. Not wrong, but like unnecessary. Looking at things from a critical standpoint, when you are somebody who is deemed an influencer, and by the title of the job alone, your job is to influence people. And that could be for good, for bad, for sales, you know what I mean, for clicks and views, whatever the case may be. The job is influencer. So what you're influencing people to do matters. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with being critical or even hypercritical of the way that people who are influencers, whether they started as OG Viners or YouTubers or whatever, who become influencers, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, hey, this thing you're doing right now is bad. You know, especially specifically looking at Gabby Hanna's history and her long list of things, right? That she can go ahead and continue to chalk up to her mental health and whatever, but doesn't erase the damage done, right? It doesn't erase the things that she was screaming into her, onto TikTok at 2 o'clock in the morning for, weeks on end, or the names that she called Rachel Oates, or, the way she viciously attacked people for simply, even people who reached out to offer to help her or offered, a listening ear. She called them performative. And I mean, these were her peers, not detractors or people who were hypercritical of her. They were peers, so it's like, I don't know. I feel like she's ridden this whole like criticism is bad thing for a lot longer than particularly fond of.
Because nobody's ever changed because they were hated. People have changed because they're shown love.
Oh, right, okay, but here's the thing, is that criticism and hate are not the same thing, and the day that Gabbie Hanna understands that, she's been saying the same shit forever, the day she understands that there's a difference between hating on someone and making criticism, the world will open up, okay? I guess maybe because I don't have millions of eyes on me all the time, and maybe I just don't understand from the perspective of being on the receiving end of much criticism at one time. But like, but it's really easy to take in something someone says that is critical as hate. But if you take a beat and you actually listen to the thing the person says, you can actually make that delineation between, is this hateful, or is this useful, or is this just their thoughts, just their criticism? Do I need to maybe integrate the things that they're saying? Is this useful to me? What can I learn from this? Just thoughts, right? It's not like you have to take everybody's criticism and put it into your daily life and adhere by that only. Like, it doesn't work like that. But like, dismissing all criticism as hate is like the byline in the newspaper of her life.
Empathy and compassion, but at the end of the day, everybody deserves forgiveness and grace, because we're all given forgiveness and grace, and you have to give what you want to receive.
Sure, but like, nobody needs to be forgiven for giving criticism. Like, you can spout your God shit all day, which, like, yes, I know that empathy and kindness and forgiveness are not inherently, religious or anything, but like, that's where she's going with this. I don't know in this particular conversation, but that's been her MO for, I don't know, however long her new personality's been around.
It's one of those things where it's like I have to be careful how far I talk, because it's easy to tailspin, right? But I guess the summary from my perspective is just like, people realized that they could continue to say things that weren't true, and it just like spiraled out of control.
Okay, all right, before we get to the waterworks, what the were they saying that was untrue? You handed them enough things that were provably true, that came out of your mouth, that we watched, heard, and experienced coming out of your own mouth or off of your own fingertips. What are you even talking about? Like, the only thing I can put here, and I could probably just like let her talk and find out, but like, the only thing I can put this to is the Bianca Devin situation, which, if you're unfamiliar, Gabbie was, she was doing an e-girl look at the time, and she and her friend were scanning through pictures, and one of the pictures was about, I don't remember if the article was, we'll find out when I come back through the series, but I don't remember if the article was about this girl's murder, or if it was just an article she was featured in, and also she had unfortunately been murdered. That's a weird sentence. Of course, murder is always unfortunate. That video went up with that screen grab in it. She's scrolling through it, just looking for inspiration for a look, and somehow it got through editing and, rewatch, and it was uploaded, and a bunch of people were like, hey, that girl has been murdered, you should take that down. And instead of like acknowledging it and saying, hey, oh my God, holy shit, I didn't know about this, I'm really sorry, she just went in and blurred the photo without saying a word. So the people who had already seen the video are not going back to watch the video, right? They're not going to go back and watch it again unless they're like super fans, right? So the people who were like, hey, you should probably take this down for these reasons, they're left to assume that Gabbie did not know or care after the fact, because they're not going to go back and check. Because why would they? If you didn't say anything, why would they go back and check, And then she got some backlash for that. She made a really good apology and then turned it on the drama channels for calling it out. And then later on, when she made a series, she raged against the drama channels for having pointed it out. And pretty much every commentary channel at the time who reported on not only the situation where she shared this photo, but on her apology for sharing the photo, said it was a good apology. And she still made it a whole huge thing where the drama channels were responsible for dragging this out and like dragging the family through it and all that. And the only person dragging that girl's family through it was her. And it was, you know, a whole scenario that, you know, she did what she did. She apologized for what she did. The community was like, hey, good job. And then she still tried to make a drama out of it. Long story long, that's the only thing I can think of where she would be like crying about being like, you know, misrepresented or whatever. Like that's literally it. Everything else she brought on herself, and she did herself, and she said herself, and I can't even think of a damn thing that she didn't, to be honest.
Sorry. I cried in the car before this because I was like, let me just get it out there, but it sucks because if you like say that, people are like, oh, you can't take accountability, but it's like, no, you're asking me to apologize for something that's not real.
Like what? Nobody's asking you to apologize for anything, first of all, but like, what are you talking about?
So that's why I stepped back, because it was just like, I accept where God is like moving me. So like, if you would have asked me like a month ago, like, do you think cancel culture works? I'd been like, honestly, yeah, because like it changed my life. Like that was how I found true peace. Like,
girl, that's not cancel culture. Like that was a mental spiral or breakdown. And if it wasn't, it was too good of an acting job, and that in and of itself is some kind of mental illness. I don't mean to laugh at mental illness. I'm just trying to call it what it is. Like this is a situation where you didn't do one oopsie and get canceled. Like you spent years antagonizing people, making people concerned, admittedly on your own, on purpose for a viral moment. Girl, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? And then you came back with an apology a couple years ago and were like, I'm really sorry to, you know, whoever. I love God though, and here's a prayer for 9/11.
comfort, slow mornings, like enjoying the success that I already acquired, that I'm now just at this point trying to like redeem a reputation that nobody cares about. And that's ultimately what like I really came to, is like, who cares about me? And I mean that in like the most self-loving way. This isn't worth fighting for. Like, okay, so people online don't like me. That's okay. Like I have like my family, my husband, like my community, like my people online who I'm friends with, and that's like the most important thing.
Okay, that's a great mindset to have. I always said, man, if Gabby Hanna just got off fucking line and went and lived a normal goddamn life, like that would be the best thing for her. Like, I might be a bitch, but like I don't want to watch people suffer, even people that like I don't particularly care for. Gabby Hanna's done some shitty things to people, you know? And like, I wouldn't call what happened to her a cancellation. I would call it watching someone spiral out of control in real time, or at least pretend to, if that's what was happening. I don't know. What she tried to do about a year or two ago, where she sat down in front of the camera and just started telling true stories, like I feel like that's honestly would be a full circle career move if these stories were all real instead. And it would be something, and I think it would be something that would be healing not only for her, but for the audience that does still enjoy her content. I don't know. I don't know what I think.
But yeah, I guess that's like,
you're not relying on it to eat then. You're not relying on it for your money then.
No, and that's, if
like
anybody's like, side note, if there's any like influencers out here watching, like young startups, save your money, like retire, like you might get canceled, whether you know, whatever, just save your money, invest well, and retire early. I guess sharing my vulnerability stopped feeling like a release and more like a burden whenever I was no longer being celebrated for sharing.
Okay. Well, then why are we still sharing? Like, you invested all your money, you're still well off, that's great. Why don't you just not be online? I don't understand. I mean, it must just be an attention thing then, right? Because why, if you are well off enough to live comfortably and, you know, you are happy with the husband and the family and the friends and the community and all of that, why just go live your life? Like, what are we doing online?
Because there was a lot of time where it's like, yay, like vulnerable, like so honest, like we need this. And I think that is true. But then when it's like, hey, like I'm getting like very publicly mocked for like my mental health, and like now it's like this thing that made me sort of like relatable and real is now the thing where it's like, she's psychotic, she's manic, she's evil, she's a narcissist, she's a manipulative, like, horrible person, she deserves to die.
I don't think that's the thing that people say. I'm just going to be honest. I obviously can't read all of Gabbie Hanna's comments or things written about her. I'm not a magician. I don't think anyone's ever said, oh my god, she's having a mental health crisis, she should die. But I do think that during many of these seeming to be manic episodes of just pure mania and potentially psychosis, that, yeah, there were a lot of times where Gabbie said and did some shit that was really messed up. She was, you know, there was so much transphobic shit she said. There was tons of racist shit she said. You know, and on top of just staying in this place of being online and scaring the shit out of people who actually did care about her. You know, I mean, listen, we can't necessarily control, you know, when the mind is not being taken care of, you know, the way it should be, and it takes over, and it does what it's going to do, and it, I guess, turns you into a brief transphobe or some shit. Sure, okay. But then, like, follow that up by making amends for that. Don't double down on it. Because that's exactly what she did, was double down on all the things she said when she was coming out of mania or psychosis or whatever the hell that was. But I don't think anyone's wish for Gabbie Hanna at any point is just to die. You know, everybody's got a hater online who tells you to kill yourself, right? Like, there's just those bots, and that there's just those people. Like, it just exists. It just happens. This is the internet, right? But, like, I literally have been around the most critical Gabbie Hanna people in my time working on the internet. Okay? I've been one of the most critical people of Gabbie Hanna while working on the internet. I have never, ever once even thought that the solution or the thing that would be better would be if she died. Ever. If she left people the fuck alone, yeah. If she got her ass offline and into some really intense therapy that could maybe help her, give her a sense of clarity and a sense of purpose outside of putting on a new costume every, 6 months to a year, yeah, absolutely. Do I think she's good at her job? Do I think she's entertaining? Do I think she's got away with storytelling, and she could be actually a pretty good performance artist if she wasn't, acting like a terrible person most of the time? Yeah, for sure. For sure. But, like, I don't know, man. If you're going to commit to the bit of, like, oh, I can act however I want and make a viral moment, well, then you got to commit to that bit. You can't come back years later and go, everybody's so mean. Like, you get one or the other.
Literally. Like, she cancel her, like, literally put an end to her.
I relate to that last thing you said, like, so much. Like, I feel like I got canceled so many times, and the thing that comforts me the most is, like, my friends love me, my family loves me, and they know who I am. Like, why do I care? Like, what all these, like, losers are saying about me that don't know me, like, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of, like, my personal life. Mm-hmm. So that really helps me a lot. But I feel like I got canceled, like, so many times in such a short period that I somewhat don't fear it as much anymore, because I feel like I got it over with, like, all of the craziness.
Okay, and see, this is, like, Tara makes a couple of really good points here. One, if someone says something about you and you don't agree with it, you can just call them losers and say it doesn't matter. No matter what it is. So that's good news. The second point is why I think cancel culture doesn't exist is because influencers like her don't fucking care. They don't care. Even on the nicest side of the spectrum, just ask to rethink the thing they said or their position on something or who, something that they're supporting, or, hey, you said this thing and that's, just FYI, that's not how we say that anymore. Whatever the fuck it is that is being brought to the forefront. They don't care. Because at the end of the day, there are still a slew of people who will continue to watch them and make them money, and that's the way it is. So cancel culture, you can't be canceled. You can certainly see a steady decline in your finances, and, a less engaged audience perhaps, and receive a little bit more backlash on things that normally would have just gone under the radar before, unless there's, high crimes and misdemeanors in there or something. But even that, like, take a look around, like, Hey.
I've exploited my personal life for content.
I mean, I feel like my whole platform was literally just that.
You have to remember, a lot of the early YouTube content was just that. You know, YouTube was like people's school projects and vlogs and music in the beginning. You know, then beauty and lifestyle content sort of filtered in, you know, travel content filtered in, and then it, you know, it all sort of bled out into this whole thing that it is now, you know? So yeah, I could see where it feels exploitative because it's your life, but that's the content that was shared. That's what people shared.
My content outside of Vine, because Vine was just like very short little catchy things. And then as soon as it was to go over to YouTube, so it was just like, okay, well, let me do a Q&A. And then from there, it was like, people recognized my face from Vine. So then like YouTube just grew so quickly that I was like, oh, this is what I do. So then I'd be like at Playlist Live or VidCon and be like telling stories. And then there'd be these like major creators who were like, you should tell that online. And there was like this like little kind of gut thing in me. I was like, no, I feel like that would be, you know, too much, whether it's about me or another person. And then it just got to a point where it's like, you kind of bend what you're willing to do a little more and a little more and a little more. And before you know it, you're just like bearing everything.
I get that. I hear you. Your feelings are valid. Also, you are in control of your own content. You know, it's not like, this feels like a very, very extreme example, but like, it's not like you do hardcore porn for a living, okay? And, you know, every time you show up to set, they're having you do more and more and more that you're not really super comfortable with, but you're doing it anyway, and you're technically consenting to it because it's your job, and, you know, it's not your favorite, but like you're not so uncomfortable that you're going to say no. You know what I mean? It's your paycheck at the end of the day. You know, at any point, she has always had creative control over her channel, right? We all do. I could turn around tomorrow and start filming, I don't know, what's in my bag videos. I don't have any bags, so the answer is nothing. The videos are short, the channel dies, whatever. But like, at any point, she could have shared less, or filmed things differently, or told somebody else's, well, she did tell some other people's stories, but, you know, she could have been more forthright about it, either be forthright or not forthright about it being somebody else's stories, or, you know, she had a very engaging personality. She really could have done a lot of things to really sort of turn that on its head, but it's easier to just share your life. It's easier just to film the thing you're doing and then make money because that was what you were doing that day. Yeah, you are exploiting your personal life, but like acting like you didn't have a choice in the matter is kind of weird.
And then it got to a point with me where, like, I've never been afraid to be emotional on camera. Like, I would cry, like, I would rant. If I was, like, going through something, I would share it, like, really, like, emotional, like, trauma dumping type things because it was getting a lot of views. And at the time, it was kind of, well, you know, at the beginning-ish of mental health. So the more you talked about it, you were, like, applauded for that. Like, it was like, oh, my gosh, you're so brave. Like, you're helping destigmatize mental health. In exploiting your own vulnerability, you're ultimately, in a way, exploiting the audience's vulnerability. But then they expect what they paid for, what they're asking for. It's like, give us everything, like, dance.
Right, but again, you're in control of that. I don't know, I feel like maybe I'm oversimplifying. I have the tendency to oversimplify, but like, I don't share my life online. You know, you get this corner of my life. But I don't ever personally feel like I feel like I owe, like, my Patreon, the fun content that I love to share with them and hang out with them and all of that. Here, I'm like, I love to share snarky, silly, funny, maybe not today, but snarky, silly, funny, like, commentary on things that either matter or don't matter, or, you know, we're just rewatching something fun to feel something that isn't, you know, the pain of our existence, right? Like, so for me, like, our relationship, though I do love and appreciate you guys, and I know, you know, the people who are here all the time love and appreciate me, like, at the end of the day, like, I don't feel like you guys are like, come on. I mean, I've had a select few who were like, hey, put up this video about this thing, and I'm like, one way to get me to not do something. by telling me to do it. You know, I just feel like there's a point where, like, the beauty of making YouTube videos, the beauty of being a creative, the beauty of working for yourself is being able to work for yourself, to be able to make your own decisions and set your own limits and your own boundaries and your own, you know, whatever. And it gets more complicated the bigger your channel gets and the more obligations that you decide to take on. But again, these are your choices. You know, at any point you could stop being being held captive by the demands of your audience. You know, boundaries.
Boundaries are good.
And yeah, I feel like I went to a pretty far extreme with it. Like, I think that I've probably shown more like mental health breakdowns than most people can like really relate with. And I wanted to. Like, I wanted people to understand that this actually was having an impact, and I didn't want to let it stop me.
Really? Because I feel like, at least with one of these mental health breakdowns, you wanted attention. And it's like, it's so hard to make commentary on that portion of things because obviously it's not super fresh in everybody's minds. But like, the duality of Gabby Hanna is very interesting because she was a very big advocate for taking care of your mental health and it's okay to not be okay and all of those things. And then one day she, for lack of a better word, kind of cracked. And it wasn't about advocacy. It wasn't about showing people the it's okay to not be okay thing. It was about hurting people emotionally, getting back at people and arguing with people. And then, you know, in another one, it was digging up old things that didn't need to be dug up. And then in the next one, it was, you know, absolute like religious psychosis. And, you know, I don't buy it when she says, you know, it was about helping people. The fuck it was. Maybe in the beginning. But with all of the more recent mental health breakdowns, I mean, she was in full paranoia, thinking that she, you know, people were surveilling her house and trying to kidnap her, and she was the second coming of Christ. I mean, like, really, really stuff she needed to seek help for. Again, with the duality of Gabby Hanna, still not sure if any of it was just a performance, because she's gone on the record saying that she knows how to use that stuff to make a viral moment. So the world may never know.
The first time I ever sat down on a camera and I was like crying, I was like, this is obviously totally unnatural.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't be sitting on your camera at all.
I remember like editing some of those earlier videos. I'm like, wow, this is like really intense and like real and raw, but there was something that I did like about it, that it was just kind of like, I'm not a documentarian, but I feel like that's probably the sort of feel of just like, wow, this is so real. So I would say immediately I knew that it was exploiting it. It was quickly batted away because it made the most money. You just give a little more, you give a little more. It's like, whoa, like that video got 1 million a day because I was crying in the thumbnail. Like, boo-hoo, like pay me some more, you know?
Case in point.
Being an influencer has changed how I see myself.
Changed how I see myself.
Tell him, Gozo. I mean, we're not going to listen to you talk today, but doesn't mean I don't want to hear what you have to say. We just don't have the time today.
Live by the applause, die by the booze. That's why I'm on this line. I felt it on both scales of it, where it's like, it made me feel like, you know, came from really not being anyone, like was not popular in school, like never really fit in. And then all of a sudden, all these people are like, you're awesome, you're funny, you're hot, you're cool. Like people are cutting their hair like you, like they're coming to your tour stops. Like it's this amazing feeling.
Can I just say, and listen, again, take this with whatever grains of salt you want. As someone who's like so far removed from being famous in any aspect, and maybe this is just my age too, but like I cannot imagine a world where I am so enraptured by other people's feelings about anything about me. And it's not to say that like I get a, you know, that like a hate comment doesn't hurt or compliments don't feel good, because sure, I'm a human person, but like for so much of your life and career and everything to be so wrapped up in the feelings of others, like, I can't really relate to that as a human being. And I don't know if that's a positive thing or a negative thing in my regard. You know, it's like, am I so shut off from other people that, like, even when they're like, they think I'm cool, I'm like, okay. Or is it a good thing? Because then I have that, like, level-headed balance when, you know, either a positive or a negative comment comes my way. I don't really know. But I just wanted to make it about me for a second, so thanks.
But then it's also like, you know, the people who are making fun of the way you look, or like, I dealt a lot, I'm sure a lot of people on social media and not, like, we're all struggling with our body image. Like, I started getting into, you know, fillers and Botox and stuff, and that like really messed with my mind. Like, there were some times where I was looking in the mirror and I was like getting freaked out because I didn't recognize myself, because like fillers always migrating. Like, the Botox starts with your eyebrows here and then it's here, and it's like every single day I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, who is this person?
But again, these are like choices that you made. And I know, like, it's easier said than done, I guess, you know, when you're in Hollywood and there is all this, like, outside pressure on you. And maybe I am just a freaking weirdo who just doesn't care that much. But, like, girl, I don't know. I certainly right now don't feel the need to change myself, you know, to change myself in ways that, like, I couldn't do it myself, right? Like, obviously, like, my fat ass needs to hit the gym this week. Once the cold goes away, I'm going back to the gym. Great. Whatever. Have a few less chips a day. Fine. But, like, I don't want to, I'm 40. Like, I have a relatively youthful face. I do also have crow's feet, and, like, my skin is not as elasticy as it used to be, you know? Like, things, retinol and me, we're like this these days. But, like, I'm not like, hey, I need to go get Botox now. I need to put filler in places. Like, no, I miss when people look like real people. That's a whole side tangent, but I really miss when people look like people. And Gabby Henna is beautiful. She always has been. If we spent more time finding our self-worth before we found selfies, I think maybe we would stop trying to alter our faces so early in our lives. That was really cheesy. Can't unsay it now.
Then I'm like disgusting, I'm hideous. At one point I was like extremely like small, and I didn't even realize it until looking back. I'm like, oh, I was like sick. Like, I was like very, very unwell. I guess to go back to that prompt about like being addicted to what people's opinions or validation, I think it was, I would consider myself like a recovering addict, where like any other recovery, it's like, this is something I could easily fall back in.
Right. But like, my question, I guess, is then, where's the recovery at? Because we're still here. We're still talking about our life on the internet, but we're also talking about how we're well set and we don't need it anymore. Like, are we in recovery?
Be yourself, be kind, be loving. Like, this other stuff, it's not ever going to make anyone happy. Like, that's why you see so many stories of celebrities who are killing themselves, and we still don't get it. Like, this isn't going to make us happy. Achieving things in the world, like, is great and fun, but ultimately it's not going to make you happy. So every movement where you're just like, you know what, I'm going to bend my morals a little bit on this. I'm going to do something I'm not really comfortable with. You're just like kind of giving more and more of yourself away. So I would tell myself, keep your privacy.
Such a weird message to end that on. It's just weird. What do you mean? Like, no, like, I agree, you know, it's celebrity is never going to make you feel happy or whole or whatever. But like, achieving things in the world absolutely is, but it just depends on what the fuck you're achieving. If you're achieving, you know, general concern from your audience just because you can and it'll make you a shit ton of money, yeah, no, I wouldn't be proud of that either. But, and I'm all for, yes, keep your privacy. Maybe don't. Maybe take a look at Gabby Hanna's career and maybe just don't. But like, at the end of the day, like, you know, she made a ton of money. She's living on her investments and royalties, and that's, you know, all the best anybody could ask for, I guess. if we could use a little bit of it to continue to support our mental health, I think, you know, we'd be on the right track. I will say this is the most self-aware I've heard Gabbie Hanna sound in a very long time. Okay, so after these messages, we'll be right back with the Deaf Noodles portion of this.
Oh my, Applebee's steak toppers. Instant messages.
How to stay cool.
And 2 for me.
AOL is where it's at.
Goodbye.
Meet Bugs and his pals at Six Flags.
Okay, so I also haven't watched this one yet. This one just came out the other day. This is Isaiah Martin versus 20 MAGA Republicans. Okay, and apparently our good pal Dennis Fatoza, aka Deaf Noodles, is the first debate in this sit down, also from Jubilee. If you don't know Deaf Noodles, I don't know how to help you. So Deaf Noodles was quite the popular commentary adjacent channel. He was very big during COVID. That's gonna be like the new, like, They Love Me in France.
He was very big during COVID.
But basically he brought a lot of stories of the day to the forefront with allegedly humorous tone and what he liked to refer to as satire at the time, and it was in no way satire. So one day I hope the thing that Dennis learns is the definition of the word satire. Basically, it was just a series of little vignettes of happenings at the time. You know, like I said, he was big during COVID, so a lot of times it was influencers out partying during COVID or just dumb shit influencers were doing, like Gabbie Hanna as well. And he used to cover basically just all the things. I've covered Dennis pretty extensively here too. I think on the last video I posted, he commented LOL and it received no likes. So that's cool. I actually was very active in Dennis's like community. I was in his Discord for a hot moment. And then he sort of turned the tables on himself with this whole situation with Papa Gut and just some really vile behaviors that I had never anticipated seeing from Dennis, to be honest, because in any interactions that I or anyone else had had with him at the time prior to all of this, which was I think in 2022, he had always been really sweet and really nice and genuinely seemed like a really cool guy. And then, wow, things really turned. He opened a comedy club that was only famous for the ways it was made fun of online. Absolutely no comedy was had. And then he turned to a far-right grift, which he's not even doing that well. So who knows? Apparently he's running for Congress. I've been telling people this for like a long time. So I guess Adam McIntyre made a video about him, and then he made a video about Adam McIntyre that no one saw. Adam McIntyre had months down the line made another video about Dennis, and then Dennis was like, hey, you didn't respond to my first video. And everybody was kind of like, hey, that's because no one saw it, because no one gives a shit, because on a channel where you have 500,000 subscribers, maybe 600 of them, if you're lucky, are watching. That being said, a couple of other creators have made videos, and he has made videos about them, so all I ask is that if a video is made about me, that you remember that I'm funny and you're not. Anyway, so let's see what this debate is.
My first surrounding claim is that Trump's mass deportation plan is making us less safe.
Wow. Just barely got there. Also, I'd like to point out that a lot of people were saying, but Dennis is Brazilian. He's from Brazil. He's an immigrant. He's not. He was born here. His parents were born in... His parents are Brazilian. I'm not saying he's not Brazilian because he was born here, but he is not. He was not born in Brazil. His family, last I heard, years ago, his parents were still in Brazil. He was born and raised here, to my understanding.
Hey, how's it going, brother?
Good to
see you.
Great to meet you. It's interesting that you claim that because according to the DHS, 70% of the people who have been deported so far have been criminals.
I believe it's actually the opposite percentage. But I'll let the professional debater talk to the former YouTuber.
The Cotton Act, yes. I'm surprised you're surprised. You ran for Congress and you don't know this?
Okay, so fact check. This claim fails to distinguish between convicted criminals and those accused of breaking the law. Using U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement data, Cato Institution found in December 2025 that 47% of ICE bookings had not been charged with a crime. So, but I'm sure those aren't facts. I'm sure those were made up in AI.
That's what those numbers said?
That is 70%. The other 30% are people who went through the entire immigration process and had some sort of deportation detainer. So that is 700,000 people.
What? Can we get the statistics right, or I'm just gonna... Okay, carry on.
Were deported like that. 1.9 million people self-deported so far. That's all
As of January 20th, DHS says the Trump administration has deported 675,000 people in the past year, while an estimated 2.2 million have self-deported. Also, my favorite thing is that when you watch two people talk, any two people, right, if they're having a heated discussion of any kind, right, the person who is way worked up and talking a mile a minute is always the one that's incorrect. 9 times out of 10.
DHS data. It's publicly available. You can look it up. So how are you standing for criminals? Is that what you're doing right now?
Of interior removals, 70% of the people deported literally have not been convicted criminals. What are you talking about? That's according to DHS.
That's according to DHS? Where are you getting your data from?
DHS.
Yeah, but Dennis decoded his from a bunch of Sharpie writing off the back of an old Mad magazine, so his facts are facts.
What day? This is like just recently.
From up to October or mid-October of this year.
So we're going to need a fact check on this because I literally checked yesterday.
They're not convicted criminals. 70% of the people deported are not convicted criminals under interior.
They were people. So there were people that had either been convicted criminals.
No.
Or they had. We're like at a stalemate because now you're claiming something and I'm claiming something from the same source. So
70% of the people that have been deported under interior removals are not convicted criminals, and that is a fact.
That's not a fact.
And welcome to America.
It literally is.
It's 70%. I'm telling you, I looked it up.
I think you got it upside down.
At the end of the day, it is what's happening.
No, at the end, that's just because you stop the conversation you were having and say, at the end of the day, that's what's happening, does not change the reality.
They literally published the photos of everybody who's being deported.
So they literally published the photos of 70% of the people, more than 500,000 people. They published photos of all of them.
So I didn't realize that they posted every single photo on Twitter.
No, they published the majority of them, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not what you said, though.
But there's data.
Really?
This is, yeah. I mean, you're hitting back at me.
You're saying they deported hundreds of thousands of people and they post pictures of every single one.
They're not posting. See, this is what you're doing here
is listening to your words and repeating them back to you. Yes, correct.
Is you're building like this false deflection around it. I didn't say everybody.
Actually, Dennis, you did.
They literally published the photos of everybody who's being deported. I said they're posting photos of people who are being deported. Yes.
No. What you said was...
They literally published the photos of everybody who's being deported.
In case you need help, literally means in a literal or strict sense, word for word. Okay?
So that means that they're deporting...
They're posting... Bro, I don't know if you're acting stupid or you're purposely just like misconstruing what I'm saying.
Yeah. But here's my argument. Under Barack Obama, of those that were deported under interior removals, 92% of them were convicted criminals.
Let's read the fact check. President Obama didn't institute a policy shift on immigration enforcement that prioritized immigrants based on criminality until November 2014, nearly 6 years into his presidency. According to the Migration Policy Institute, 85% of interior deportees had criminal convictions in that fiscal year.
Of that 92%, 81% of them were considered tier 1, worst of the worst, per se. I think that is something that makes us a lot more safe than literally roaming around to go get grandmas in CVS that speak Spanish or going to that construction on a job site.
That's an absolutely false narrative. Because
it's really not. There's lots of video to support the things that he's saying. But let's read the fact check again. The Migration Policy Institute says during Obama's first year in office, 51% of interior removals were of individuals convicted of what DHS describes as serious crimes. The policy change greatly reduced the total number of interior deportations from 224,000 in fiscal year 2011 to just 64,000 in fiscal year 2016.
Because that's actually
that's just what the facts say. I mean,
that's
the
not
facts
what's
just
happening.
don't really care
That's
about
you just
reality.
see. This is
Yeah, it's funny how the facts don't care about your feelings crowd became the my feelings are that the facts are not real crowd. While several news outlets report grandmothers being detained by ICE as well as instances of immigrants being detained near CVS stores, there's no documented instance of the two converging. ICE raids at construction sites have been well documented. Yeah, I mean, I think that, not to give my side a leg up, but I think he was speaking more hyperbolically than he was literally. Like when Dennis said...
They literally published the photos of everybody who was being deported. This is common with what the left does. You guys just
The left loves facts?
No.
That's kind of how that goes?
Again, that's not what you guys do at all. What for anybody watching at home, this is what they do.
Give you the facts? You're not even smart enough to talk circles around people. You're not even smart enough to do word salad, brother. Like, what the fuck?
They get a piece of data, they fabricate a narrative around it, and then they try to sell it to you as the truth, when in fact it's not.
Your data.
So
your data.
I mean, I came here.
This is Trump's own website.
I came here
really
with I came here with a piece of data. You completely rewrote it in real time.
No, I gave you the facts.
You completely rewrote it. I mean, I'm surprised you ran for Congress. You're one of the most disingenuous, dishonest people that I've ever met in my entire life. I was literally taken aback for a second. I was like, how? Like, I looked this up yesterday. How is this guy sitting here lying so blatantly?
Girl. Dennis. Honey, I don't know what happened to you over the course of these past few years, but this meltdown ain't it.
You should be ashamed. No, seriously, dude. And I can see it in your face. No, you literally just sat here and lied. And you're like breaking down in real time.
Who's doing what? First of all, who lied?
They literally published the photos of everybody who was being deported.
And second of all, who's breaking down? Oh my goodness. There are cokeheads at parties who haven't crashed out this hard.
I think I'm doing pretty good.
It's so incredibly
So
tell me, why are you so in favor of criminals being in this country?
I just told you that 70% of the people that Trump is supporting literally are not convicted criminals for interior removals. I mean, I don't understand what about this.
You really buy into that narrative that little grandmas are walking around. Oh my God. Oh, let's get grandma. Let's kick her out of the.
Yeah, honey. They just put a 5-year-old in detention. Oh, if those are the criminals that you're trying to keep us safe from, well, good job. You did it.
Literally what they're doing.
That's not what they're doing. Cite one case like that.
Of what? Of
one case of the little grandma standing at the taco stand getting deported. You can't cite it. There we go.
He's not even like, you know how he's not either genuine about this or smart enough to do this is because it's not even angering. Like, this isn't even an angering debate. Like, this is embarrassing. Dennis, honey, therapy, you'll be all right.
There we go. You can't cite.
Are you denying the fact that
no. I'm holding you to account because that's the narrative you're just running with, and then you can't cite a specific example.
What I'm telling you
again, this man is deeply disingenuous. Thank God you're out of politics. We don't need more lying politicians like you.
Yeah, we need irrelevant news.
We don't need
more lying politicians like you. I'm running for Congress too. I'm actually still in the race. Yes, in Hollywood, Glendale, Burbank, and Pasadena. We need people who tell the truth. We don't need liars like you.
When this episode comes out and they show the fact check and you are miserably wrong, as you clearly
I'm not going to be wrong.
And they show this is going to be really beautiful when America gets to watch the fact that the person running to be your next congressman literally cannot read data.
This guy's breaking down every time. He's like looking at the clock. He's like, please get me out of here.
I'm sorry. I don't even have commentary. Dennis, you are a mess.
I think I'm doing pretty good.
You looked at the clock, dude. You're breaking down in real time. I can see your face is like twitching.
How can you see it through the bulging veins in your neck? Settle down, Beavis.
I think I'm just chilling.
You don't seem like it.
Because here's the reality, is that under Barack Obama, we know that we focus more on the convicted criminals, and you guys just aren't. I'm sorry that the numbers don't back up what you're talking about, but that's just the reality.
Do. They literally do.
This is just going to be just so beautiful because when they show this fact check, we're just going to, I guess, one of us is going to go viral over this, I guess.
Pause.
How can a guy be so confident in something and be so wrong?
I think we paused.
Pause.
Okay, well.
Nice acting job or whatever. But that was insane. And like, you can't convince me. Again, same thing with Gabby Hanna, where it's like that duality of like people who will do anything to retain whatever this is, like whatever relevance they have. It's impossible to know how much of this is Dennis acting or how much of this is like, is this a bit that's going on too long in the hopes that one day he'll be funny? Honestly, the thing with Dennis is that I think what he thinks, if this is an act, right? If this is just Dennis writing a new bit until it falls, until the wheels fall off. What I think Dennis is doing then is he thinks he's Walter Masterson. And I know that he and Walter Masterson used to be friends. I don't know if they still are. I would imagine not, if this is his actual stance on things. Because for a long time, Walter Masterson did a brilliant, actual satirical bit where he would go into, specifically like around election time, he'd go into like more MAGA centered like rallies and things like that, and he would pretend to also be MAGA and then ask questions in a way that made them kind of admit the shortcomings in their thought process, to put it mildly. And he's brilliant at it. Like, if you don't already follow Walter Masterson, you need to. He's very, very, he is what I think truly what Dennis has always thought that he is. And not only is Walter Masterson the real thing, he's also funny, which, I'm sorry, but like, I mean, there's no statistics in on it yet, but I bet if there were, Dennis would be like, oh, those aren't real. But anyway, wow, that was a lot. I've never like purported to know Dennis in life, but like having been like a part of his community in, like the COVID era, it is really interesting to see whatever the fuck this is. I wonder what the comments are like on this video. Oh my god, he uploaded a video called Jubilee Distorted My Surrounded Debate with Isaiah Martin. Oh my god. Dennis! What the fuck happened to you, bro? What was I looking for? No, the Jubilee video. That first guy should never do debates, lol. This dude had a meltdown in record time. He really did. The first guy gave me secondhand embarrassment. Real-time. A lot of people are asking for real-time fact checks, and I think that would be probably pretty good. Oh my god, apparently the third person got a 10-page fact check. First guy did at least 3 lines before the taping. Oh my god. First guy's entire argument was nuh-uh. First guy really should reconsider his career. Oh, he has. Maybe not this one. This is the reconsideration, unfortunately. Yeah, wow, that was fun. Again, I'm caught in a weird limbo where like I don't know that I buy Dennis's bit of whatever the hell he's doing here, because like it's not that hard. I don't imagine it's that hard to do like a right-wing grift. I mean, a lot of people do it after they get canceled for things, right? Like that seems to be kind of the natural progression of things. So, I mean, maybe it started as a bit and it ended up just being another not funny thing that he's just carrying on with. Or maybe he actually believes these things. Either way, do something else. Because whatever this is sucks. And not even like, it's not even funny. Like, it's not. And I think for me, the reason I don't feel like it's real is because it's not even dumb enough to make me mad. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when people make dumb arguments about stuff like this, or like, they go in with like their batshit crazy arguments, you're like, oh my god. But like, doesn't even make me angry. Maybe that's just me. But Yeah, still 0 for 1,000. Dennis, it might be time for a revamp. Because this sucks. Anyway, I think that's it for today. Because I don't want to do any more of this. I gotta go. Make sure you're subscribed if you want to be. Or don't, if you don't. I don't care. Just whatever you do, don't do what these people do. Alright? Alright, bye.